Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video, we'll be going through at patch 3.4.32 and we're going to go through what is the new kit of the Dragon Esper, which is going to be an Umbra Esper at the same time, and also on the few gameplay or the few mechanic in game. We can also take a look here. So the first one, we're going to take a look at Nyles, which is 5-star Umbra Esper, and it's a fighter Esper that reducing enemy max HP and countering dispelling effect. So I really briefly watched through the kit. He is a very good counter against those Esper that is skilling with max HP. Because like recently there's a lot of new Esper that's actually max HP base damage, like let's say Tyro, let's say Yukini, let's say Maria, all these kind of Esper actually skills with their max HP. So the lower their max HP, the lower they are able to do damage and the lower they are actually able to heal. Alright, so S1 here deals AoE damage to all enemy based on Nyles attack, and you steal several buff from them. So I'm gonna guessing it's around like 2 to 3 buff from my guess. And then after Ascension is a AoE damage as well, stealing several buff as well. But now you're gonna apply the special debuff from Nyles, which is called Intro, if not mistaken. Then Intro to all non-boss targets. So basically this makes Nyles kit just purely for PvP. So if you're a PvE player, probably you are actually able to skip Nyles because he doesn't bring any value at all in terms of PvE content. Alright, it's like just going to be like Tyro. It's not able to be usable in PvE content, or not the best in slot for PvE content. So PvE player, you don't have to be panicked because Nyles here will only deal in PvP content. Alright, so what this special buff does is you are actually undispellable, this debuff, and then every stack of this Ethereal reduce max HP by a certain percentage and then stackable with a limit. When the carriers receive a single instant of healing that excels their current max HP, then you're only able to remove one stack. So the only way for you to remove this debuff away is actually through healing, and that healing proc is not the total healing you are doing, is that one single proc of one big heal have to be higher than their current max HP. So if their current max HP is only like 40k HP, then your heal is actually like 10k and then you proc 4 times. It will not dispel away the buff. The debuff. The only way for you to dispel away the debuff is if you are 40k HP, you need to heal like 41k to actually remove the buff. So there's a few Esper that can actually do massive heal in one single proc. One of it is going to be Maria's S3. It's actually a big AoE healing that procs in one single heal, right? Like for example, Armor is not able to counter this because Armor is a multi-hit of proc of heal. Then that kind of healing is not able to exile it. So we need a healer that can actually proc a giga heal on a single proc of the heal to actually remove this dispel, the debuff. Then there's a passive for him. So Nyles here is immune to his own debuff. So if enemy also have Nyles, he's not able to debuff himself. And then it's also immune to freeze and petrification. So you can only stun him. You can only stun him in terms of CC. Then he's gonna gain taints every time after receiving a buff or healing. So if you put like Feng Shun or you put with like Maria, every time you're gonna get a buff or you get a heal, then you're gonna get this special buff when non-boss enemy are affected by dispelling effect. So if enemy actually get an AoE dispel, like for example you pair with like Chuyao doing AoE multi-hit dispelling effect, then they will also get this intro debuff and also take damage based on Nyles attack. So from this part here, we can actually tell that Nyles actually wants to pair with the other Esper that can apply dispelling effect, like for example Chuyao, for example like Tricky, for example, they can actually apply dispel. So every time they dispel effect, then they're actually able to apply this intros debuff and then do damage based on Nyles attack. Then after taking Ficto damage for the first time, he will prevent himself from dying and then recover HP and then gains this Taint stack that immediately casts S3. But from here, I don't think I see anything that mention what this stack actually does. They only mention like what is Ichiro able to do, which is reducing the enemy max HP, but they did not mention about this buff, like what is he giving him himself, like a benefit or getting a more attack bonus or probably getting more speed or stats. They did not mention this at all. But Currently, all the new Esper is actually pretty often that whenever they die for the first time, they actually can self-revive from themselves and prevent themselves from dying. So yeah, this is the passive. So he's immune to a certain amount of CC, and then every time he get healing or buff, then he's gonna get himself this stack. But not sure what this is gonna benefit him. And then for the S3 here, attacks all enemy, did not mention is based on what, but I'm gonna guess it's gonna based on attack as well. And then the damage deal is increased based on the number on intro stack, right? Then applies intro to all non-boss targets. So S3 is gonna do damage based on how many stack you have, and then after doing the damage, it applies a little bit more stack on that. But we have no idea in terms of multiplier, we have no idea in terms of how many stack is the maximum, or what is the scaling, and what is the damage, all this thing. On paper, it looks very good against those max HP Esper because he's very annoying reducing the enemy max HP. But in terms of the kit, doesn't look too broken at the moment in terms of R0. Then in terms of Rezo, R1, increase the number of intro stack applied. Each stack of intro reduces the healing received by the carrier by a percentage. So your R1 here, the moment you get R1, that enemy is actually harder to dispel away the intro debuff, because it's harder for you to actually heal more than the current max HP, right? So it's actually harder to do that. And then the number of stack, how many is it increased? Like from 1 to 2? Is it like double up the speed? No idea for this. And then for the R2 here, each buff on Nyles increase damage by a percentage. This looks good for the R2, basically increasing its damage output. Then for the R4 here, Nyles at 25 stack of Tame, which they did not mention what is the effect, but now at 25 stack, it will permanently increase damage deal. This looks very good. And speed by a percentage, so this is based on percentage speed, not a raw speed. And when you go until 50 stack, he will immune to disease. You're no longer able to heal, block or Nyles now, and reduce the max cooldown of Ashen Breath, which is the S3. Not sure what is the cooldown of Ashen Breath if you actually need the R4 to reduce the max cooldown. Then R6 here, at the start of the combat, you gain 10 stack, and probably this one here is actually faster for you to stack up, right? So probably something gonna be something like Nathaniel. Nathaniel gets 10 stack at the start, and they also have a maximum of 50 stack. So patch note here, to be honest, not really clear in terms of what he's able to do. We have to look in game in the PTR server this Thursday. But for now, on paper, looks good only for PvP content and only against the max HP Esper, because I think that's what he mainly want to counter, and which is like Meta Alexa, all this kind of Esper is actually scaling with max HP as well. Alright, then we're gonna have the usual update content as well. And then loyalty chest is gonna be the same one, this one, the X one, the number 10 loyalty chest. I already made the guide for it. And then Miramon research project is basically the event with the new system. So the event here is basically giving you a one-time reward like the other Nexus Crystal, like Divinate Disc, and then the Shimmer Ripple boxes, and also limited avatar frame they did mention about here. So nothing too much. This one basically when you progress the sonic device, then you're actually able to get additional reward here. Then new event, this is the rate up event here. Alright, I did not expect that Ryota actually rerun so fast, but probably a lot of you actually wanted Ryota to rerun, right? Because Ryota is actually very good in a lot of content in game. Then championship, nothing new as well, no new championship Esper. I think they actually move forward with the championship Esper into like Keepsake and Umbra, because I think previously they wanted to make the championship content into a competitive content for them to actually earn money through purchasing stamina pack, but then I think it did not work out, and they proceed with Keepsake and Umbra pool. Then championship become abandoned mode, I guess. Then this one is a lock-in reward. Whenever you lock in, then you're gonna get a little bit of Ether Disc, and then the Ether Disc here is total of 20 of the Ether Disc. Then content update is the Miramon Lab. Basically, it's the sonic devices to upgrade. I already pretty much covered everything from the highlights video yesterday. If you want to see more clearer, like in terms of visual, all these things, you can check a look at the highlights video in terms of this part. I basically already covered everything. Like each Esper got 3 sonic devices. I already covered this thing. And then what I'm curious is like how are you, or what are the resources for you to actually upgrade the device tier, so to equip the sonic rails. Like what is the condition to unlock the slots for the sonic devices, and what is the resources to upgrade. Everything here can only be answered in the PTR server, because everything here I already covered through the highlights video. Alright, but basically that's it for this patch note here. The most hype thing in my opinion, or the most exciting thing for me, is actually the Miramon Lab, finally a content update. And I want to see like what are the combination in terms of like the sonic devices. Is it going to be like very in-depth and very fun to play with, so we can actually change the PvE meta and also PvP meta. I hope the sonic devices can actually make some of the older Esper stronger, but this is a little bit of copium. But I hope it will actually benefit them in terms of, instead of just like making the strong Esper more stronger, but that's the most common situation, right? The stronger will just get stronger. But I want to see like, is there any buff or any effect that can actually make the older Esper actually shine in certain condition. That's what I'm actually exciting for. Then the rest here is just some repeating event. And then the new Esper Nyles here looks okay in PvP. PvE definitely is already a no-no, but for PvP that's potential. But we want to see all the multiplier, all this thing. Right, feel free to comment down what you guys think about it, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.